Hi, welcome back. Let's talk about how the transfer of risks and rewards is key to determining whether a financial asset should remain on your books or be derecognized. When evaluating a transfer, the entity compares its exposure to the variability of cash flows before and after the transfer. This gives a clear picture of whether the risks and rewards of ownership have been retained or handed over. If you've retained most of the risks and rewards, it typically means your exposure hasn't changed significantly. For example, imagine you sell an asset but agree to buy it back at a fixed price later. In this case, you still bear most of the risk, so the asset stays on your balance sheet. On the other hand, if you've transferred most of the risks and rewards, your exposure to changes in cash flow becomes minimal. For instance, selling an asset with only an option to repurchase it at its fair value means you're no longer significantly affected by variability in the asset's cash flows. Here, the asset is derecognized because it's no longer economically yours. But what about situations where it's not so clear-cut? Sometimes you need to compute and compare your exposure before and after the transfer. This involves using a current market interest rate as the discount rate and considering all reasonably possible variations in cash flows. You give more weight to outcomes that are likely to happen. Finally, let's talk about control. If the transferee can freely sell the asset to a third party without restrictions, then control has shifted. If not, control remains with you, meaning you might still need to recognize the asset. These evaluations ensure that financial reporting accurately reflects who truly bears the risk and enjoys the reward of ownership. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.